my name's Rachel, and here is my book talk for The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Now, this is my first time doing a book talk like this, so I need you to understand how dangerous of a situation I'm in, because I have no tripod, I have no actual camera equipment, I have actual, like no lighting. My tripod is just a bunch of books stacked up. Here, just let me show you. This is my snazzy tripod and my expensive camera right on the top here, so pray for me. So this book is about a girl named Ruby Dolly, and she lives in Virginia. There is a plague going around America at the time, and it's killing all of the children who are under 16. And people are really freaking out about it. Pretty much half of the population is decimated. But there are some children left behind, and the ones who are left behind have developed special powers. And the adults become very afraid of them, so they send them off to these sort of camps that are sort of like concentration camps. And when they go off to these things, they're treated very unfairly. Ruby gets sent to one of them, and she lives there for 6 years of her life. She's been there since her 10th birthday, and on a day where she's 16, she actually escapes the camp and has to deal with the government hunting her down, some bounty hunters hunting her down, some children's representation groups hunting her down because they want to use her, and it's basically just a fight or flight situation. This genre is a dystopian novel, which means that it takes place in a time like ours, but where the government or society is different, where there are different rules that some people don't sort of agree with. So the author is Alexandra Bracken, and she went to a college in Virginia, so that's how she's connected to the novel. And she also majored in history, which a lot of historical sites are mentioned during the book, and they use them as sort of road markers because all of the road signs are gone. So, yeah. So, the main character in this is a girl named Ruby Dolly, and she is an orange, which means she has the power to make people forget things or think things that they wouldn't necessarily want to think, basically a mind controller. So her personality is very closed off because she doesn't want people to touch her, because if they do touch her, yeah, you're not going to remember a thing about anything. She's very strong, like, sort of through the start of the novel. She doesn't think she's strong at all, because she's like, oh, I don't want to hurt people, so I'm just going to stay away from them, and I'm not going to get into trouble. But she is really strong because she has to deal with this power that she has, and it's really a horrible thing. I wouldn't want to have it. So she is also very smart because her mom used to be an historian, so she knows, like, historical places and stuff like that, even though her education was sort of cut off at, like, 10th grade. Not 10th grade, when she was 10. Her education was sort of cut off when she was 10, so, yeah, that would be a bad thing. She is pretty rational. I mean, well, she has to think out these situations, and she always thinks ahead of the time, like, how is this going to affect other people? How is this going to affect my friends? How is this going to affect me? Like, she thinks about all of that stuff before she makes a decision. And she's kind of a liar. She does lie a lot in the novel. Well, she thinks she's doing it to protect herself or protect others, but she just lies a lot, so that's one of her personality traits, and she's very good at lying. So I thought I would add that in. So a secondary character who is, like, very prominent in the novel is named Liam, and he is the leader of this group of kids that are trying to find this safe haven called East River, where all of the other kids who have powers have been taken. So Liam, he is very social and friendly, and he's just, if you meet him, he's probably going to become best friends with you within the hour. He is that nice. He is just so kind that he doesn't see the bad in people, which is sort of a bad thing at this time because there's a lot of bad people in the world where they're living right now. I mean, there's bounty hunters who just catch kids to, like, you know, just to hand them over to the government and get paid. And there's the government who want to lock them back into camps or worse. And then there's the radical children's group, like the Children's League and stuff like that, that are fighting to abolish the rules of camps and stuff like that. But they're doing it in a way where they're taking the other children and they're using them. Liam is also a do-gooder. He's always really like, if it's not good, don't do it. Like, he does, I don't think he's ever done a bad thing in his life. He's just a very nice person, like, real justice-y. And he's very sentimental. Like, so when they have this car in the novel, and they kind of have to get rid of it because it's old and it's worn down and they can't use it anymore. And he's like, no, keep it. We should, like, burn her or something like that. And they're like, Liam, it's a car. It's a car. Like, it's a minivan that we stole. Like, it's not gonna do anything. It's not a Viking. We don't need to send it off to sea on a boat. And he's very loyal to his friends. Like, for example, in the novel, this kid wrote a letter to his dad, and he told Liam, take this to my dad if I die, and he died. And so Liam is very loyal, and he said, we're taking it to him. As soon as we get to East River, we have to deliver this to him. It's not an option. We have to deliver this to him. So another character in the novel is called Chubbs. I know, it's a very real name, but that's just a nickname that they give him. So Chubbs is very analytical. He's very smart. He's kind of a genius. And he's always reading the only book that they have on hand. He's the one who thinks it out. He's the one that solves problems. And that also makes him a little heartless. Because when Ruby first came along into the group who needed help, he's like, get rid of her. She could be a spy. Like, so he's very, like, judgmental and stuff like that. But it's for the better of the group. He just wants his friends to be okay. That's all he wants. And he's kind of hot-headed. He does get angry very quickly. He'll be Chubbs is very hot-headed. He doesn't like not getting his way. He's not one of those people that's like, I don't want my way, like, I'm going to do anything I need to get my way. No, he's not like that. It's just, if you don't give him what he wants, he'll just be very angry about it, and he'll be very angry at you. You will suffer the wrath of Chubbs. And he's very blunt. He's like, no nonsense, like, nothing that comes out of my mouth is filtered. Nothing at all. He says what he thinks, and that's how you're gonna get it. You can either take it or leave it. Another character in the novel is Zoo, short for Susan, and she's the littlest one of the group. And Zoo is very quiet. She hasn't spoken a word in the first novel at all. Like, she communicates through her expressions and just her hand actions and stuff like that. So she's very quiet. She's very girly. Like, she doesn't have a lot of options to be girly. Like, she doesn't have a lot of clothing options or, like, anything else options that are girly. Another thing that is terrible is people don't actually know what's going on in the camps. They think that their kids are being helped, that they're treating them nicely, that they're trying to cure this disease of a kind, and they're trying to cure their powers so they can come home to their families. And they don't actually know how they're treating them. And they think that they're treating them nicely when it's exactly the opposite. They are treating them horribly. They're stressing them out. They are putting them in work conditions that are terrible, and it's not good. And some people are suspicious and asking, my kid went away like 6 years ago. Where'd they go? I haven't seen them in a while. Are they actually helping these kids? Some people are getting suspicious, but it's only a few, and the rest of them just either don't care or just don't want to know. A passage that shows social context is, they were never scared of the kids who might die or the empty spaces they would leave behind. They were afraid of the ones that lived, and that's on page 8, and it shows social context because the government is more afraid of the kids who have the powers than they are of their entire country keep on going because of the children, and they're more scared that these children are going to hurt them. The connection I made is to the Nazi concentration camps, because they are a lot like the Nazi concentration camps. So the Nazi concentration camps are like these camps because in the concentration camps they would make them work and make them make stuff for the war and for Nazi Germany. For example, they would make bullets, uniforms, boots, and that's exactly what these kids do at the camps. That's some of their jobs in these camps, to work, to make uniforms and all that stuff. Another connection I made is they are experimenting on people in the camps to try and cure them, and I think it's more just for scientific reasons. And in the Nazi concentration camps, they were experimenting, but not generally saying to cure them. They were saying that they were experimenting on them to learn better ways to kill them. So it could be worse. And another connection I made is they were treated horribly in the Nazi concentration camps. They were malnourished, they were not well fed, and they were malnourished and not well fed, same thing. And they were given poor living quarters, and they were punished if they ever did something wrong, like spoke or anything like that. So it's the exact same thing in the camps in this book. So that's not good. I would recommend this book to people who really like dystopians or sci-fi and like powers. For example, if you like the show Heroes, this is a book for you, or X-Men of that. I would recommend it more for teenagers. This is not generally a kid's book. It's classified as a young adult book. So adults can read it and teenagers can read it because it's more graphic and stuff like that. I hope you enjoyed my book talk. Thanks for watching. Bye!